too.
You too.
Oh my God. It's lovely to see you both here.
Thanks. We're glad to be here.
You know what's so funny? As you walked out, I don't think I've ever seen the resemblance between you two before, but you really resemble each other.
I always think that's the best compliment.
Me
When
too,
people
gosh.
say I look like my mother.
Now you
She's a lot taller, though.
Yeah.
She gets really mad when we
standing-
wear high heels and she's in flats.
I gave up high heels when I left the White House.
Oh, I don't blame you. That has to be the best part about leaving the White House.
exactly.
but you lived at the White House for 8
years.
But do you miss anything about it? You miss it?
Yeah, I miss the chef. So does George.
I bet.
Yeah, because my mom's gotten really good at scrambled eggs. We baked a cake. It was my husband's birthday yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. And I
Oh,
myself
my God.
take after my mom in the domestic goddess category, meaning I'm not one. And we tried to bake a cake yesterday, and she was just as helpless. It was pitiful.
exactly.
Well, I'm so curious about it because you grew up in the White House, and
Well, no, she didn't. She was in college.
I grew up, remember? The freshman 15
I mean, but
pictures.
still, you're still.
You don't remember?
But I mean, you're still there. I mean, you were there
Yes.
with your grandfather.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
that
right.
was a
Well, that
part
is
of your
right.
life. And I'm
That's right.
always so impressed with how families can raise children under the scrutiny of just being, you know, the president of the United States and raise such, and time again, everybody's so lovely. Everybody turns out so well. So what's the secret?
I don't know the secret, but Barbara and Jenna were born when their grandfather was vice president.
But I think part of the secret is, and people, you know, my sister wrote just in Vanity Fair the sweetest, and I cry at the drop of a hat, thing about my parents and about being a twin. And she said that our life, I know, just in case.
It's okay.
I better keep it here just in
Happens
case.
here.
She said that our life was extraordinary in scope, but ordinary in the day-to-day. And that was true. We lived in suburban Dallas. As little kids, we played in the alleys or the sewers, and we pretended they were these magical places. Our parents took us to school every day. We had a very normal childhood. So that, you know, I think also we had unconditional love.
Yeah.
And when your parents love you and you know that, and you know that, you know, even when you make mistakes, you'll have somebody to lift you back up.
That's amazing.
You'll be okay.
And they were so... And they were so lucky to have each other.
Yeah.
You know, a twin from the day they were born to always have each other.
Yeah, to get
under the circumstances.
Yeah, sure.
We didn't feel alone, and we could get in trouble together, and that was okay.
You give me hope with my twins now.
Yeah, exactly.
Except for that trouble part. Watch out. We're gonna take a quick break. We come back. We're gonna talk about your love of the great outdoors, and we're gonna talk about that when we come back with Laura Bush and Jenna Bush Hager. So stay right there.
We're back with Laura Bush and Jenna Bush Hager. Of course, you've written this great children's book, Our Great Big Backyard. This is your second book together.
Yes.
That's right.
I'm so impressed that mother and daughter can work together and,
I have
you know,
to say,
survive.
she did try to take out some of my favorite parts.
Yeah, Jenna mainly wrote it, and I edited it.
She was a librarian, though, so the editing with her is very intimidating.
Right, of course.
You got to have your grammar right, or there's judgment.
Now the book is about but it's about a family vacation.
That's right. It's really about our national parks, and we did it this year because this is the centennial of the National Park Service, and I've hiked in the national park every year for 30 years with my childhood friends that I grew up with in Midland.
And I heard you talking about you did not sleep in tents.
No.
Earlier in the show, you were saying you and your family. Well, my mother and I did.
Okay.
We went on. They brought,
1 year we invited our daughters
And?
on our
How
trip.
long is the trip?
and they've never done it again.
How long were you together in the
Well,
tent?
it was the Grand Canyon. It was the float trip
We
on the
floated
Colorado
it
River
for
and then
a
the
week.
hike out.
A week together.
A week of a tent. In a tent.
there you go.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
was sandstorms down below where I had to wear goggles over my contacts.
She had goggles.
We did the day version of that.
Yes. We did it for a week, and then you have to hike out at the very end. And I have to say, everybody said, Jenna, how did you hike out so fast? And the thought of just an hour alone really got me going.
The girls hiked out in quickly in 4 hours. The old mothers hiked out in 7.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I did at one point think it's going to be so embarrassing if the First Lady has to be carried out on a gurney.
That can't happen.
But I made it.
I really appreciate you bringing so much attention to the national parks, which are a treasure, a real treasure to families like mine.
No, they are, and you know, it's a book looking down. She's looking at her electronics.
She's always looking at a screen.
So she says to her parents, there's nothing to see here, and meanwhile, there's tons of things to see. So I think as parents, we should just put our own phones down.
Yeah, of course.
And encourage our kids to get outdoors.
And to look at and to play outside.
Mother and daughter working together, twins, unconditional love, putting down the screen and paying attention to what's around you. This is just awesome. Thank you both so much. It is a great big backyard. It's on sale now. Laura Bush and Jenna Bush Hager, everybody. We're going to take on this year's Math Counts winner when we come back. We need your help at home. Don't abandon us.
Tomorrow on Live from Once Upon a Time, Lana Parilla.
More rain in the forecast. Brett's tracking it all at noon.
Today.